Good morning, Chair. Prince can confirm if all our presiding officers, our chairpersons for the commissions are here, and if yes, then we can start. And then if Tulani is in the meeting, he can also confirm if all our guests are here. Thank you, Chair.
Okay.
Prince Tulani.
Chairperson, there is an indication that we can start.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Well, thank you so much. Can we begin by having a silent prayer and meditation? Thank you. I now call for for the singing of the national anthem. Can we have the national anthem? Am I audible?
You are audible, Chair.
Thank you. Could you please play the national anthem audio?
Nondonga, is there a problem on that one so that we don't really take long on this?
Seemingly we Thank you for the national anthem. Please forgive us for the poor sound quality. You may now be seated, honourable members. The next item, I would like to take the opportunity to welcome the Deputy Chairperson of Committees, Honourable Kanyane, and we would like to ask him to render a welcome address and outline the process to be followed. Honourable Kanyane.
Thank you very much, the Chairperson of the Education Portfolio Committee, Honorable Matume Chilwani. And thanks for the opportunity. To start with, let me acknowledge the following members who are present in this Youth Parliament. I'll start with the Honorable Speaker of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature, Me Linteng Ntombi Mekwe. And then I'll also acknowledge the presence of the Chairperson of Committees at the Gauteng Provincial Legislature, Me Sizakele Nkosi Maluvani. And again, in absentia, let me acknowledge the Deputy Speaker, Me Nomvuyo Mhlagaza Manamela. Again, let me acknowledge you, the Chair of the Portfolio Committee, and honorable members of the Portfolio Committee who are present today. And again, let me acknowledge the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker of this Youth Parliament who are in this August House. And again, let me acknowledge the participants from the youth who will be debating the topics that we have outlined today under the theme that addresses the challenges that we are facing in this new normal, the issue of the pandemic, which has its own complications. So the debates are around that, and we'll be listening to the youth today, who will be outlining issues that the legislature will have really to address one way or another. Again, it is our noble wish that the proceedings today goes very well. I'm saying that also acknowledging the proceedings and then also the P team that has put everything together for today. And it is our hope that these objectives will be realized, and then we'll make sure that the outcomes should not end up as the talk shop. We had the Youth Parliament in the past, and based on the challenges, it was very hard, especially last year, to have the report back. But today we are putting our head on the block to say the process from here is outlined and it's going to be followed meticulously as I'm going to state it. Whatever outcomes that we have today, it is going to be owned by the Portfolio Committee of Education. And the Portfolio Committee is going to table these issues in the committee. And then from there, they are going to make sure that they are going to table the resolutions in the House of the Provincial Legislature. And when these are tabled, we're going to invite you as the guest. You'll be in the gallery. If you are still using this platform, you are going to be there in the gallery so that you are able to really listen to the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee when you'll be reading your resolutions and taken to the executive. Again, we're going to give the executive, according to the law, 30 days to respond to the issues. After the executive has responded, fortunately, the Honorable Panyaza Lissufi, the MEC, is going to address you today. He is the one who's going to take care of your resolutions. And those resolutions, we're going to make sure that there is a report back. We put our head on the block. We can't have the youth parliament next year if we have not have a report back. You need to know what happens to your resolutions. We are promising you, and that will be the processes that we're going to really follow, whatever outcomes that emanate from this youth parliament. Now, we have some items where the MEC, Panyaza Lissufi, will address you. From there, we're going to listen to your debate. At the end, and again, we're going to have the Speaker of the Legislature, who will also outline the purpose of today. And now, at the end, the Honorable Chairperson of Committees will receive your resolutions, and then again is going to give the closing remarks, which is going to be a way forward. And again, at the end, we'll have really to thank you for your presence and thank you for participating. And this is an agreement. We're entering into agreement with you. We're going to make sure that the legislature, whatever activities that are there for the youth, you are going to be informed and you are going to be involved. And on that note, I want to declare this youth parliament open and welcome everybody, and feel free. Wherever there are some challenges, we have the supporting staff that will assist you in moving forward. Thanks, Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee of Education, Ntate Matume Chilwani. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Kanyane, for the moving and welcome remarks. I would like to now call on the Speaker, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Lenteng Tombi Mehwe, to address the sitting, outlining the purpose of this event. Honorable Speaker. Honorable Mehwe, is the speaker here?
Yeah, she's on the platform. I'm sure they're busy assisting her to lock, to unmute and lock, make sure that she's visible.
Now let's give her a minute or so. She should be able to. Okay, I think she's coming through now.
Live streaming has stopped. Live streaming is on.
Yeah, she
Live
seems to be
streaming has
struggling.
stopped.
Maybe we can just get to the next item. We'll join her later.
Live streaming is on.
Yeah, I think so. We should, because but I can see she keeps on popping up. So I thought maybe the speaker.
I can try and assist her. It's fine.
Yeah. Because from here, we're going to call on the MEC. So I'd rather have the speaker outline the purpose. Please, can you do your best in terms of trying to assist the speaker? Yeah, please, the technicians, can they move speedily?
No, man.
Okay, in the absence of the speaker, because she's present on the platform, I also can see her, but she's struggling with an output. Let me just confirm, the next item would be the MEC. Can you mute the MEC responsible for education in Gauteng Province, the Honorable Banyaza Lesufi, whom is supposed to give us a keynote address. Are you on the platform, Honorable Lesufi?
I suspect so, Chairperson. I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Yeah, no. Now, if I can hear your voice, you are suspected. Okay, thank you so much. As you can see, we're struggling with the input of the speaker because I think there's a problem technically. Could you please, I would now like to call on you to give us the keynote address.
Thank you so much, Chair. Truly appreciate the opportunity. Let me extend my sincere greetings to you as the chairperson of the Education Portfolio Committee, but most importantly, presiding over this important occasion, the chair of committees, the deputy chair of committees, the speaker, who I think we are struggling to get, the deputy speaker in absentia, members of the portfolio committee and members of the legislature, the speaker and deputy speaker of the youth parliament and youth participant. Let me start, Chair, by apologizing in advance. I'm at the vaccination site, so there might be some background noise, in particular music or people speaking. I want to apologize because today we started a very crucial, important aspect of protecting our young people, of ensuring that the educators are protected through the vaccination process. So we are here at the site in Tembisa to ensure that all 125,000 of our employees are vaccinated, so that by extension they can protect our precious cargo, which is our children in our school premises. I'm indeed honored to address the parliamentary youth sector during this historical month of June, the Youth Month. This year marks the 45th anniversary of this watershed moment, which disrupted the tranquility of a racist order as it dared to reimagine our society. The month of June is deeply etched in the historical canvas of South Africa for its practical and symbolic impact in the shaping of a just and equal society. This month is one of the turning points in our history, to which, as a stage in which we inaugurated an era of restlessness which changed South Africa's comfortable political landscape irreversibly. Our democratic dispensation envisaged a society which is equal in both material and normative dimension. It's an inspirational constitution which is not blind to the reality that even as it was being developed and adopted, the society in which it would become the apex legal document was steeped in racial and class inequality. It was and still a society in which we must realize justice for those who for decades have been excluded from the comforts of the South African polity. On the positive side, considerable strides has been made in addressing much of the inherited racialized historical disabilities. It is equally true that such still needs to be done before we can say we've truly realized the vision embraced by the generation of June 16, 1976. Yet, looking back to 1994, it can't be denied that considerable progress has been made despite the often unfriendly global environment in which these gains have been made. Chairperson, the 45th anniversary of Youth Month is taking place under abnormal social conditions brought about by COVID-19 pandemic. This imposed conditions invariably impact adversely on the quality of work we are doing so that we can realize the vision of our constitution. It is now a second year since the whole world has been transformed beyond imagination by this outbreak. Gauteng, being the province that is small in our country, is the home of almost 15.6 million, or 25% of South Africa's estimated 60 million population. Consequently, the trajectory of COVID-19 resurgence in our province has a major influence on the national picture. In the past few weeks, Gauteng has seen a sustained steady increase in COVID-19 cases and is the epicenter of the third wave, accounting for almost 60% of the latest daily increase. If you look at the current rate of infection and deaths from COVID-19, you will see that we've actually surpassed the numbers of the first and the second wave in Gauteng, and that's very much worrying for all of us. We wish to take this opportunity to express our sincere, heartfelt condolences to the families who have lost their loved ones during this monstrous virus. Honorable youth members, despite the predictivity of the resurgence, unfortunately, Gauteng health facilities, public and private, are seemingly under pressure to deal with the spike of COVID-19 cases that requires hospitalization. That our healthcare system is straining under the weight of this imposing outbreak is not an exaggeration. Thus, there is an urgent need to review all the relevant legislation, regulations to ensure that we protect ourselves, but most importantly, protect our economy. Across the private public sector, daily reports indicate that the severe COVID cases are being treated in emergency departments at some hospitals until such time as bed space may be available. Equally, there's this very same health system has been elastic enough to withstand the pressure of current emergency conditions. We are quite aware that the Charlotte Matlake Hospital has added additional pressure on this situation, but we are now convinced that the reopening of the hospital is going to happen sooner than we thought. Globally, preliminary data on COVID-19 suggests that children and adolescents, that is between the ages of 0 to 19, typically comprise a small fraction of recorded cases and are less likely to get seriously ill or die because of COVID-19. Between the 6th of March to the 7th of October, children and adolescents constituted 8% of people that were confirmed as COVID cases in Gauteng province, with those between the ages of 17 and 19-year-olds contributing almost 29% of cases amongst the COVID cases, and those that between the ages of 17 to 19-year-olds contributing to 29%. It is quite clear from these figures that our young people have the resilience to fight this disease or this virus, and they are at less risk, but this doesn't mean that we must expose them to the virus. They must remain the front line that will assist to those that are weak and vulnerable so that they can protect the country and most importantly, protect our economy. However, in December 2020, some coastal cities saw a spike in cases amongst youth attending a post-matric rage party, followed by heightened concern over renewed spread and a tightening of lockdown measures. Simultaneously, various countries became aware of the newly dominant COVID variant, with fears that the mutating virus would be more contagious in children. This concern was cited as one of the major reasons we delayed the reopening of schools until mid-February. Despite the health system in Gauteng operating under increased load due to the rise of COVID-19, the province is still able to cope with the pressure at this stage. The Gauteng Provincial Government has responded to this situation through measures designed to both save human lives and the economic livelihoods in our province. In addition, the army has just been deployed into our province and new beds at Krisa and Baragwanath have been opened. Spruit and Tshwane district hospitals will be used for the search while hospitals are repurposing beds for COVID-19 patients. Chairperson, as a result of the fight against COVID-19 pandemic, we've already seen massive resources redirected from some of the key national and provincial priorities to this existential battle to save our country from this deadly virus. We have also said that we have reorganized government decision-making processes, policy planning, disaster management, and service delivery to respond directly to the progression and impact of the pandemic on the lives and livelihoods of residents of our province. The point we seek to drive home here is that the breakout of this pandemic has not only imposed new ways of doing things on us as government and the world at large, but it has also commanded a pride of pace in government agenda in the last 2 years. We could not carry on as if it was business as usual. In March 2020, the provincial government established the technical and political structure to plan for the additional patient admissions and anticipated surge capacity required for effective treatment of COVID-19. This involved 1. Decanting of wards in existing facilities for upgrading in line with World Health Organization standards for COVID-19. 2. Repurposing of additional unused or underutilized spaces in our facilities. 3. Creating permanent alternative building technology facilities to increase healthcare system capacity. 4. Finally, considering field hospital should the need arises. A part of the effort is the hotspot modeling, which is based on the use of artificial intelligence through unsupervised machine learning. Of importance is the identification of the number and special location of hotspots and specifying those that were at high risk. And the hotspot maps and risk index map were used to identify areas that needed intervention, assisting in directing resources to the areas in need. We also wish to emphasize that our anti-COVID plans are sensitive to the socio-economic history of our country. For instance, we know that those that are in precarious socio-economic circumstances and adults and children who suffer hunger and those who have poor health or pre-existing condition and no medical aid may be worse off and may be affected by the virus. Honorable members, COVID-19 also revealed a big black cloud hovering over our nation called gender-based violence. We are doing everything possible to ensure that we protect the women of our country from this scourge. As you will know, we have dedicated the year 2021 to the memory of Meshalot Manye Maxeke, one of the seminal figures in the history of our country. Her life was dedicated to freedom from both racial and gender oppression at a time when it was well impossible to even speak of gender equality. We are inspired by her legacy to wage a relentless struggle to put the issue of gender equality on the table. Part of this struggle includes preventing and combating gender-based violence, a social practice which has become a stain on the conscience of our nation. While safety and security is our prime concern, and the fight against crime and especially gender-based violence is a top priority, we also must give the necessary support to the victims of GBV. The major tenets of distributive justice are equality, proportionality, fairness of the distribution of both material and non-material resources. GBV disproportionately places the cost of violence on the shoulders of victims of the state and therefore reduces resources that can be accessed by victims or spent by the state. We want to reaffirm and re-emphasize this our point as the Gauteng Provincial Government that will leave no stone unturned to fight GBV and will ensure that we allocate all the relevant resources that are needed so that we can put an end to this matter. We lower banners to those that have been killed purely because of their sexual orientation in our communities. We also support those families that are confronting the culprits in various courts in our province so that the courts must speed up their processes to ensure that these monsters are sentenced to long sentences in jail so that they don't come back and harass our communities. On the 1st of November 2018, President Cyril Ramaphosa at the Presidential Summit Against GBV and Femicide declared that, and I quote, "We believe women and men, girls, boys can work together to resist patriarchy, advocate for gender justice, and achieve gender transformation. When we improve the way we raise our children, we can go a long way to preventing violence against girls and boys. We must raise boys and girls with the knowledge and understanding that no person has the right to treat them as inferior or to harm them in any way, that boys and girls are equal in all respect. A society that does not support notions of authority and control over women, does not tolerate violence against women, is more likely to reduce gender-based violence. We must name and shame those who perpetrate violence against girls and women. Most importantly, we must ensure that our law enforcement officers are trained to investigate the cases of abuse to get conviction in these cases." End quote. So we are committed on behalf of government to deal with GBV and to deal with all matters and support the survivors of GBV. Chairperson, what is true that June 16 Youth Uprising marked? While it is true that June 16, 1976 uprising marked a turning point in our country, it is equally true that the youth of our country today find themselves at the crossroads. Speaking on this issue of youth and the future, President Mandela had this to say, and I quote, "The working youth is critical to our future. The economy depends on you. With our hard work and efforts at improving our skills, we can make ours one of the most prosperous nations in the world," end quote. We are saying this because it's quite clear that the future belongs to young people. And that future needs to have an economy that is functional and an economy that can accommodate our young people. There are careers that are now obsolete. We can't push our young people to be part of those careers. If there is something that wants to leave to young people in this discussion in this parliament, is for them to participate in new economy, for them to take care of the new careers that were not there 15 years or 20 years ago. Those that grow in our country will tell you there was a career called typist. Each and every floor in each and every building, in each and every company, and each and every government department had a typist. Today, that career is gone. Those that knew the lift industry will tell you each and every lift in this country and each and every lift in public sector had what we call the lift operator. Today, lifts are operating themselves on their own, and the careers of lift operators is gone. We are seeing many companies that are going online, meaning you can get your food without even visiting the shops, meaning you can get your clothes and other services without even leaving your house. Majority of those that were working in these industries will face a bleak future. We therefore call upon young people to take advantage of the fourth industrial revolution, or what others are now calling the fifth industrial revolution. It means big data. It means artificial intelligence. It means we need to embrace technology and the changes that are happening. Just imagine the new driverless cars that are coming. Just imagine the new cars that will be propelled through energy rather than through fuel. This will change the look and shape of many things. It will change road mapping. It will change the robots or traffic robots or signals that we know by today. It will also change the caliber of the drivers that we will need. In our province, we've just published what we call the Master Skills Plan 2, which outlines the future careers that are needed in our province. The Master Skills 2 plan outlines the new careers that we need and also outlines the new support mechanisms that are needed so that the economy can absorb our young people. As we re-examine our skills development strategy, we recognize that we need to have a better understanding of our youth conceptually and as individuals. Young people want and need different things at different stages in their lives. The economy of our country depends on its youth. The National Development Plan shows that South Africa has an excellent youthful demographic profile, which it needs to convert into demographic dividend. Yet the irony is that not all our youth are ready and prepared for the economic demands of our future. While we encourage students to concentrate on acquiring education qualifications which are responsive to the market, government also continues to come up with ways and means to alleviate these challenges faced by our youth. We accept that government cannot do this alone. Embedded in our approach is the issue of partnership. It is within this context that the Gauteng Provincial Government have set aside over 300 million to equip our young people with higher education qualifications. Majority of these children, or majority of these young people who are getting bursaries from the Gauteng Provincial Government through TCRA will be in a position to be equipped so that they can come and contribute to the economic growth of our province. The 300 million is distributed through all the institutions of higher learning in our country because we need skilled youth to run a growing Gauteng. If we can grow Gauteng together, we'll make things easier for generations to come. Within our school premises, we've introduced what we call schools of specialization, where young people are taught about the skills in the aviation industry while they're still within the classroom. Where young people are taught about the motor vehicle industry while they're still within the school premises. Where young people are taught about the skills that they will need in the economy. In responding to challenges of young people as well, government used SEPA 1 million as a platform to empower young people and give them the relevant support that they need in establishing their own businesses, but most importantly, in reskilling them. It was during the high rise of cases of COVID that young people were called upon to become youth brigades in our school. They did this task risking their own lives, but it was part of a program of investing 450 million rands in the pockets of young people while they were getting skills, but at the same time they were protecting our young people in our schools. This is a demonstration that young people are tired of handouts. They want to get things on their own, utilize their skills to earn a living. We will continue with this program as Gauteng, even though this program was discontinued nationally. We really believe we can't take back our young people back to the streets of unemployment, poverty, and crime. We still want them within the school premises and will keep them until their role is redefined. As part of the processes of protecting young people, we also want to hear from them. So that it must not always be us saying this on behalf of young people. We must also hear young people. It is within this context that we welcome this youth parliament. As the deputy chair of chairs have indicated, we are tired of this program being just a talk show. We've now, through the office of the speaker, put a firm, tangible accountability machinery to ensure that the resolutions of this youth parliament are adhered to, implemented, and monitored. We welcome that the Portfolio Committee of Education will be the frontline committee to receive and implement this resolution. It's within this context that we want to thank the entire leadership of the legislature for formulating and defending the need to have this youth parliament and the importance of this youth parliament amongst all processes of government. Regardless of COVID, here we are having this youth parliament because we care for young people. But above that, we don't want to hear our own voice. We want to hear the voices of young people, articulating their own frustration, articulating their own views, but most importantly, suggesting to us the best way to deal with young people. Never in the history of our country that young people have been given this platform, a platform to share their views, a platform to share their frustration, but most importantly, a platform to pave their own future and guide the policy direction that government needs to take. We look forward to your debate. We look forward to your recommendation. But most importantly, we look forward in ensuring that Meshalot Makwege, Winnie Madikizela Mandela, Helen Joseph can be multiplied in this forum. Your debate is our future. Your future is in our own hands, but this government is prepared to be the vehicle that will convert your ideas into policy position that will protect your future. This country belongs to you. Shape it now and ensure that the future belongs to you. I thank you, Chair. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Sufi, for the keynote address. Thank you. I think the Honorable Speaker is connected. Maybe we can give her and an opportunity to outline the purpose. I know that we've passed the keynote, which was quite moving. Honourable Speaker, is your audio? Okay, I think we are not winning with the speaker. Okay, the next item is I want firstly to explain are you connected, speaker? Okay, that's fine. Explain to the various commissions how we'll be dealing with the reports. So can the speaker unmute maybe, and if she can? Honorable Ganyane, are we winning with the speaker?
Yeah, she's trying. It's like something's wrong with the gadgets. I would prefer that we just get to the main item of the day of the debate.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, as I was saying earlier, that firstly, there were commissions, workshops, which I do believe that you will be presenting the resolutions today in this sitting. And what I would request is that those who present the resolutions of the commission should be able to hand over to the table after the debate, and then from there take them further for processing. And at the end of each debate, resolution will be handed over. At the end of the debate entirely, we will then take the resolution and hand them over to the chairperson of committees of the legislature so that they can be tabled in the chairpersons in their meetings, and then forwarded to the executive for action. Now, with that said, I would like to call on the secretary to please read the first order. Secretary, can the first order be read?
Let's give them another minute. As you could see, there are sort of challenges that we're facing, but just a minute and then we sort that out.
Good morning, Chair and colleagues. The first debate of the day is on the assessing of the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on the healthcare system in Gauteng. The first speaker will be the chairperson of the committee, which is Honorable N. Tabalala. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I now call on Honorable Chabalala, the chairperson of the commission, to present their commission report. N. Chabalala, Honorable Chabalala. Are we winning with Honorable N. Chabalala? Honorable Chabalala?
Chair, I cannot see Honorable Chabalala in the meeting. The next speaker on the list is Arbaloy, Chair.
Okay. Honorable Arbaloy, could you, are you here?
Yes, I'm here, Chair.
Okay, can you come in, because we can't find the chairperson. If you can have, he or she was scheduled to have 6 minutes. Let's see how we spread, but you can come in now.
Okay. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Honorable Speaker, Honorable MEC, Honorable members of the Provincial Legislature, Honorable members of the Youth Parliament, VIPs of the day, the youth of Gauteng across all 5 regions. My name is Rolani Ivan Baloy from Winterveld. I would like to outline and articulate challenges that we observed as young people in the provision of health services during the COVID-19 pandemic. I'd like to say to the MEC, we don't need more hard lockdowns. We just need jobs and services. I was surprised that during the lockdown, suspension of what I deem critical services for young people were suspended. Street testing was suspended. If you follow on social media, #Geu was trending. This is because of, if you suspend services like this that are easily accessible to young people for testing, for HIV, we end up doing what we call eye testing. And I don't think that's what the MC is pushing young people to do. Abortion was also suspended. And if you walk through these townships, each and every street pole has advertisement of illegal street abortions. So now if we suspend this critical service to young people of abortion. Are we pushing young people to go and do street pole abortions? That's the question the MEC maybe will answer. Some of the things that were suspended is family planning. Are you pushing us to condom saga? That we really know that it's happening already. But now, these are the challenges: a suspension of critical services and discrimination. To be honest, Honorable Speaker, discrimination of the LGBTQI community is still high. And this is what the young people have been experiencing in the provision of health services. We are still being discriminated as members of this community. And another thing, MEC, would like to cooperate with the COVID-19 regulations. There's nothing like this thing of bekele beke. We are depressed, Speaker, to be honest. We are depressed as young people because we are not working. And whenever we look at this situation, we realize the best thing is to go outside and spend time with other people. Because when we go to clinics, present our symptoms of depression, we are made a laughing stock. This is some of the things that the MEC should look into and address. There's nothing like bekele beke. We are depressed as young people. And the very same government of Gauteng had agreed to give us 350, which is a food poverty line of 2015. What a shame. Things are expensive now. What can we do with 350? Another thing that was a challenge during the COVID-19 pandemic in accessing health services is the long queues. There are still long queues at clinics, long queues for getting a file, long queues for seeing a doctor, long queues for getting medication. I plead with the MEC, can you please include fourth industrial revolution into our day-to-day experiences and challenges? This would be the best thing you can ever do for young people in terms of accessing health services in this province. And another thing that's discouraging young people is because we don't have the so-called health brigades. In the Department of Education, we do have a teacher's assistant that are helping teachers with sanitizing, but in clinics, these things are done by security guards. And this is a good opportunity for the department to hire people and withdraw the failed project of teacher's assistant in the Department of Education and make it a project of the Department of Health. And these people can be called health ambassadors. That will help us with the queues in clinics, because we are only sanitized when we enter these facilities. In the queues, we are not sanitized. We are being avoided, and social distancing is no longer followed. The mask, some people no longer cover up to the nose. This is the time that these youth ambassadors will be educating people on the queues about sanitizing, social distancing, and ensuring people are wearing masks. This is discouraging to young people to go to clinics and collect their ARVs and everything. Rarata, who already collected the ARV, but when we think of the queues and thinking that it would be easy if then we were booking online so the queues can be short, but that is not happening. I'm challenging the MEC to ensure that he moves the so-called teacher assistant to the Department of Health, and these people become health ambassadors so they can help. Lastly is the issue of engagement and ineffective social media presence of the department. This was the time for the department to be active and engaging people. Parents have access to the MEC of Education. We also want to have access to the MEC of Health and engage in continuously so as young people in the social media platforms. This is the time that the department runs awarenesses and teaches us about the vaccine that is being administered, tell us what is happening and where. But we are in doom, we are not seeing this happening. So I'm challenging the MEC to engage his colleagues, that they ensure that the departments in Gauteng are very present in the social media where young people are. But if you are failing, MEC, trust me, on Monday, because I'm unemployed, I'm taking a suit and I'm coming to work as an MEC to solve this problem for young people. I thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Baloyi, you went above with 2 minutes, so I'm just giving you that 6 minutes that was for the chair. So you are left with 4 plus what was allocated to yourselves. Can I call on the Honorable Mkombolo? Honorable Mkombolo. Is Honorable Mkombolo here? Okay. I think the system has problematized Honorable Mkombolo. Are you here? Okay. Can we, then we should move to, okay. Who's that?
Mr. Nandong, what we're doing, Chair, is that they've logged in to the gallery instead of the main conference room. So we request those of us on this platform to go and then we allow participants to come directly on the platform, Chair.
Okay, so but in the mean, okay, I hear you. I hear you. So can while they're assisting, we will give on Mkombol is Honorable V. Tongana on the platform.
Yes, Chairperson, I'm here.
Okay, you can start the debate.
Thank you. As I will be addressing the Department of Health, I open by firstly advising the government to look into traditional African methods for treating COVID-19. Science is not the answer to all problems in Africa. There are solutions in indigenous traditional medicine from indigenous African spiritual leaders. Greetings to the respectable members of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature amongst us. I greet my fellow colleagues, honorable members of the House at large. I am Noluvuyo of Yogazi Tongana, and I will be addressing the challenges young people are facing regarding employment by the Department of Health during COVID-19. Firstly, youth employment was not at the center of the department's response to COVID-19. A 4.5 billion rand budget adjustment was approved and over 60 billion was allocated to the department. Yet, this did not translate to a direct benefit on the youth of Gauteng. We can all agree that 60 billion rand is a lot of money, had it been used appropriately. Secondly, earmarking of temporary vacancies with below living wage stipends was also ineffective, as the effect of COVID-19 will be felt in the long term, not the temporarily. The living wage of an individual in South Africa by 2020 was 6,700. Therefore, with the amount of job losses after the economy collapsed, how were the people of South Africa and youth especially going to survive? The 350 from the social relief of distress grant covered close to 5% of the money one needs in order to survive a month. Therefore, earmarking vacancies below the living wage is still not effective. Thirdly, temporary vacancies are also a short-term solution to a long-term problem. If the effects of COVID-19 are still going to be felt in the next number of years, why is the response of the department to fill in temporary vacancies? Currently, the vaccine has not even reached half of the population, the very same vaccine which is not even 100% effective. So, members, we can be sure that COVID-19 will be amongst us for a very long time. It is questionable that the posts set in place are temporary, whereas we know for sure that the COVID-19 pandemic is far from over. The Presidential Youth Employment Initiative is an example. The 300,000 youth that were employed in schools was only for a period of 3 months. Unfortunately, as some contracts did extend, some contracts were terminated. The 3,500 made some difference in the youth of South Africa and would be beneficial if it were to continue, as this is their last month at school. We can only hope, pray, and plead that their contract will be extended. With the unemployment rate at 63.30%, which is another pandemic on its own, why do we have temporary posts? What is the use of the 100 billion set aside for the protection of jobs as well as creation of jobs? We need permanent and, most importantly, visible posts for a long-term problem. Visible. May the posts be visible. Fourthly, youth-owned businesses were not prioritized during the procurement process. Allegations of undue payments to companies which did not supply the required goods or services were rampant, and this resulted in a number of SIU investigations and the relief of former MEC Bandile Masuku from his duties. The businesses of the youth is the future of the economy. We need to invest in those businesses. Why is the health department and government as a whole not investing in the future of South Africa? And lastly, some young people applied for the distress grant. However, many of them were declined, even though eligible. On average, 33% of all social relief of distress grants every month were rejected. However, only a team of 10 people are overseeing the appeal process. How is it that only 10 people out of all of South Africa are overseeing appeals in a country that has so many unemployed youth? I submit. Thank you.
Can I get Honorable Ramokhuatedi? Can I have Honorable Ramokhuatedi?
It's Ramokhuatedi, Honorable Ramokhuatedi.
Yeah, Khuatedi.
The chairperson, yes. The chairperson, all members present, on above raised issues on the Department of Health. As the young people of Gauteng province, we also have solutions for the challenges. Solutions to the challenges in the health care system and service delivery. The department should seriously intervene in the grievance of healthcare workers and their safety, not only to boost their morale, but also to mitigate risk to their mental health and physical strain. Any pending investigation of allegations of COVID-19 procurement and relief program corruption should be firmly acted on, as it is not just money that is lost, but lives too. It is not enough that people are removed from possession, but the money lost must
Live streaming has stopped.
We lost Honorable Ramokhuatedi.
Am I audible, Chair?
Yeah, now you're back.
Live streaming is on.
Yes, you can continue now. We couldn't hear you.
Okay. I'll continue just now. Okay, I was on. It is clear that the department can be able to deal with dual pandemic, youth unemployment, and COVID-19, and still attain essential provision of goods and services to maintain a positive standing in the healthcare system. If the department prioritizes its spending on youth-owned enterprises, providing essential goods and services, then the youth can provide such goods to hospitals like Tele, Mokgorane, and Charlotte Maxeke regional hospitals, which suffer from shortage of PPE. Young, vibrant, and energetic spirits are needed, as the South African healthcare system is resisted by an over-fatigued workforce. Employed youth can
Final member? The honorable member, we were losing you.
Am I audible now?
Yes, we are back now.
Okay.
I think where you are, you just remain there, yes, and just speak, because time is running out. Okay, proceed.
This could all be undertaken by Gauteng Department of Health Youth Brigade by doing away with the requirement of experience for entry-level work, such as the work that will be undertaken by the Youth Brigade. The Gauteng Department of Health will see an overwhelming number of young people presenting themselves to the service of the department. The department should develop a strong provincial action plan targeting youth employment through enterprise development. National and provincial departments should coordinate with each other to establish enterprise incubation programs and service delivery projects that hire and train young people in essential going on.
We lost you again, honorable member.
Am I audible now?
Yeah, you're back now.
Okay.
Can you maybe conclude? Try to conclude, honorable member.
Let me conclude. The department should develop a strong provincial action plan targeting youth employment through enterprise development. National and provincial departments should coordinate with each other to establish enterprise incubation programs and service delivery projects that hire and train young people in essential spaces of delivery. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you so much, honorable Ramu
Khwatedi.
Khwatedi. Don't be naughty. Yeah, I know. Okay. Is Honorable Nkombolo connected now? Is Honorable Nkombolo connected? Okay. Honorable Chabalala?
Good day, Chair.
Is that Honorable Chabalala?
No, it's Honorable Mbali. Honorable Chairperson Chabalala said I should close for him.
Okay. We have the floor. It's fine.
Okay. Every challenge comes with an opportunity. We have a history of challenges, but as a country, we have always stepped up to the challenge, whether it is 4.4 million or 4.5 billion. If these figures of money do not make a difference in the lives of young people of Gauteng, we are creating a bleeding ground for a youth revolution, and when history judges us, there will be nothing honorable about us. Our role as legislators must have a practical impact. Young people cannot eat our speeches, debate, or quote honorable members. Even through the forum, we need to produce practical plans and actions for the GPL, which will have a direct impact on the lives of young people. I wish to thank the words given by the Deputy Chair of Committee, Honorable Ntate Mpapa Kanyane. As young people of Gauteng, we do not wish to make contributions to a talk show. We need to see our ideas in action, and we must entrust the provincial government with this task. Moreover, we have capable and competent young people who are up to the task of representing the views and interests of young people in the legislature and in government. We are not looking for hands out, but our hands are up and we are ready to serve. The key takeaway from the Commission 1 report is that the Department of Health is in a position where it can deliver in effect services while pursuing meaningful empowerment of young people through enterprise development. This requires serious and concerted efforts, not merely adjusting and readjusting budgets. COVID-19 is deadly, but the only pandemic that can cause a revolution is poverty and unemployment amongst the youth. Thank you, Honorable Presiding Officer and distinguishing guests of the session. I submit.
Thank you. And now we're going to our open time. Please note that it's only going to be 4 participants, and those participants are those who are on the speaking lists currently. And please do not forget to mention your name and Rule 77.7. Okay. Thank you. Who would like to speak during this open time or this debate? You can just say your name, and then obviously then the rule, then you can speak, because I can't see hands. I don't think this platform offers us that opportunity of hands. Who would like to speak on this open time? Okay. So it's no one. It's not a problem. Perhaps it's the system that we are utilizing today. I would want to apologize in advance. Okay, I thought I had a voice. All right. It means, okay.
Sorry, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chairperson Ngaba said I should close when it's time to adopt.
Yeah, no, fine. I'm gonna call you again. We're busy with the open time.
Okay.
Yes, just a bit more patience and remember.
Okay, thank you.
Now I would call on you, remember, on behalf of Honorable Chabalala, to move for adoption, because I wouldn't say reply, but you're supposed to reply, but there was no engagement through the open time. So move for the adoption of the Commission's report.
Okay, thank you, sir. Adoption of the report. Honorable Presiding Officer, I wish to confirm this report as a true reflection of the work undertaken by the Commission, and we may proceed with adoption of the report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I now call for a seconder.
Seconded.
Okay, you rise to second. No problem. I now would like to put a question for all. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
All those not in favor say no. The yes have it. The report is adopted. Can you kindly hand over the resolution of the debate on assessing the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on healthcare system in Gauteng? And then furthermore, declare that the debate on the assessing the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on the healthcare system in Gauteng is duly closed. Secretary, can you please read the second order?
Good morning again, Chair. The second order is the debate on the assessing the responsive of the Gauteng province in relating to GBV faced by young people during COVID-19 restrictions. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I would like to call on the Honorable O. Makola, the chairperson of the commission, to present the commission's report.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Honorable members of the House, Honorable Chair, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Premier, Deputy Premier, and the entire executive, all protocols observed. As introduced by the Honorable Chairperson, my name is Osborne Makola, Chairperson of the Commission 2, under assessing the response of the Gauteng Legislative Government in gender-based violence. This report provides an honest and deep reflections on the tough year it was. As we convene this sitting, it goes without saying that the year 2020-2021 has proved to be difficult for us all, given the immense challenges caused by global pandemic, namely COVID-19. Our institutional resilience was tested, and we concur it is out of our united action that we pulled through. Honorable Speaker and Honorable Chairperson, our resilience could not be effective in the absence of a stable leading legislative government of the Gauteng province. In this regard, we want to express once more our great appreciation to our capable leadership led by the Honorable Premier, Ntate David Makhura, and the entire collective. Honorable Speaker, gender-based violence is a national crisis. Not a day goes by without getting news of an abused woman or child in the hands of the men whom they have entrusted to protect and love them. With the launch of the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence and femicide, we ought to think deeply about our actions as a society. We must be determined in providing solutions that are that will significantly scale down the abuse, rape, and killing of women and children in this country. We be committed and be firm in our resolve to tackle gender-based violence and femicide pandemic with great vigor, with maximum pressure to our justice system to protect and prosecute the perpetrators. Madam Speaker and fellow members, we began our year with optimism, zeal, and commitment to improve our previous efforts in continuing to serve the people of the province in addressing issues that are faced by our communities, particularly issues of gender-based violence. However, there is still room of improvement that the province can adopt in addressing the issues of the second West pandemic, namely gender-based violence in this country. My fellow speakers will come and deliberate further into the content of this report in its address. This confirms once again that we are capable of being resilient as the Gauteng province, Madam Speaker. Once more, we appreciate the endurance and commitment of our frontline workers, the South African Police Service, as they had the responsibility to ensure that South Africans are safely protected within the province. Given that also the province in its firm response by launching the 620 gender-based violence brigades, who were able to reach about 40,000 households and still even targeting more households. Honorable Chairperson, the statistics remain grim, and it goes without saying that gender-based violence contributes significantly to the disease burden in this country. It is shocking as I address this house that today the statistics in this country are sitting at 51% of women who have experienced gender-based violence, with 76% of men perpetrated against those cases. The number of children who have been victimized, it's quite very high, Honorable Chairperson, and it calls for the serious intervention of government. However, as a progressive commission, we are not only going to raise problems, but we intend to provide solutions. Honorable Premier, Deputy Premier, the impact of gender-based violence left the province with a strained financial position together with the pandemic COVID-19 amidst the difficult socio-economic conditions. Although we survived the risk of being a financially distressed province, it is a reality that we need to do everything in our power to restore our financial viability. We are encouraged by the clear demonstration of the zero tolerance to corruption, fraud, maladministration. However, Honorable Premier, we want to continue our call to totally eradicating gender-based violence and bring firm interventions and accelerated response to gender-based violence, improving our healthcare systems and more supportive care-based units for victims of gender-based violence. If these basics could be looked into and more financial capacity pumped into it, Honorable Premier, we shall defeat the enemy called gender-based violence. Honorable Chairperson, allow me to stop here and give the remaining 3 minutes to my honorable speakers. Thank you very much, Chair.
It's not 3 minutes, but and when do you transfer time? Doesn't work like that. But thank you so much, Honorable Osborne Makula. Can we have Honorable M. Ramutsamai? Honorable M. Ramutsamai? Do we have Honorable M. Ramutsamai?
Honorable Chairperson, through you.
Okay.
Honorable Chairperson, due to the technical glitches that we're having, as the Commission, we are replacing Honorable Ramutsamai with Honorable Lebohang Chomo.
Okay, is Honorable Lebohang Chomo on the platform?
Present, Chair.
Okay. You have 3 minutes.
This work is not for yourself. Kill that spirit of self and do not live above your people, but live with them. And if you can rise, bring someone with you. With those words, members of the House, Speaker, and all protocol observed, declare yourself greeted from the words of Umam Mashalet Matreke as we are celebrating the centenary of the Women of May 1st. Members of the House, before I begin with the presentation of the full details of my presentation, I'd like to explain a term that I'll be frequently using moving forward. That is abbreviated GBV and stands for gender-based violence. Gender-based violence refers to the abuse directed at an individual based on the gender and is mainly rooted in gender inequality, the abuse of power, patriarchal norms, including oppressive culture teachings. It is a sad reality that in South Africa, it is women that are most likely to be victims nor survivors of gender-based violence than men, not mentioning the scourge of femicide and rape. A minimum of 4 girls are raped daily and 3 women are killed, mostly in the hands of someone we know and trust. It is very heartbreaking, honorable members, that in a democratic South Africa, women still live in fear and cannot freely express themselves because of the violation they face from men. We as a society need to stop teaching young girls not to be raped, but start to teach young boys not to rape. What is even more saddening is that most women that face gender-based violence or go through it are not informed of what a huge crime is being committed to them. Some women even perceive the abuse as love. And some women are not economically stable to even start speaking about their abuse, as in most cases, the abuser is the sole provider. And honestly, anyone can be a victim of gender-based violence, whether you are poor, rich, black or white, learned or not. However, women who are not learned or do not have an opportunity to education have even lesser chances of understanding what they can do to protect themselves against the abuse they suffer. And the distribution and the failure to the fair distribution of information about gender-based violence, it is what has contributed to seeing that most GBV cases go unreported. Only women who have been privileged enough to get the information. Most women don't even know of the support that is available to them because of information does not reach them. And local government departments are not doing quite an excellent job in making sure that the information is beyond easily accessible. Because even local police stations, victims unit does not operate. And if it does, it is not victim friendly and it further seeks to oppress the victim even more. Acknowledging that there are organizations like POA, FemSA, the Tears Foundation, but not all women know this. Or let me rather say, not all victims of gender-based violence know this. Rape kits are not available or are not performed.
I remember,
Rape case.
I remember your 3 minutes is up. Thank you so much.
Chair.
No, it doesn't work like that. Thank you so much. Your commission is on time, so I'll stick to time. Thank you so much. Can we get Honorable El Tomo, please? 3 minutes. Be conscious of time. I'm sitting with a timer here.
El Tomo just presented, Chair.
Okay. Oh, so, okay. I thought it was someone else replacing Ramuzamai. Okay, thank you also. Can we get Honorable A. Mabalani?
Thank you, Chair.
Yes, can you see my camera? When
Yes,
I'm
sir, I
saying-
can see.
Yeah, so I'm gonna reset it to 3 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you, Chair, and greetings to the House at large. My name is Abraham Mabelane from West Rand in Mohlakeng. It is quite an honor and privilege to participate in the youth program. Without wasting any time, gender-based violence, or in short GBV, is a profound widespread problem in South Africa. In short, GBV is another global pandemic we are currently facing as a country. We have various forms of GBV, namely violence against women and girls, violence against the LGBTQ community, intimate partner violence, domestic violence, sexual violence, and indirect structural violence. South Africa is a country that is notorious for its high level of gender-based violence. The South African Police Service statistics for reported rape case for 2019 and 2020 is 42,209, and for sexual assault is 7,749. This is really shocking because those people might be someone's mother, sister, colleague, or even worse, your daughter. Men, let's take a stand and fight this war. In relation to the question, once the abused child has confided to you about abuse, it is very important for you to start focusing on how to help the child. If you are helping the child, you need to take into account that there are physical, psychological, and even spiritual factors that might contribute to the issue. This will likely mean that you need to involve people that are closely related, family, friends, and psychologists or a doctor. Also, the family might also need help to get through this thing. And treatment for child abuse include therapeutic day school program, day hospital program, residential program, and groups family therapy. I would like to conclude by adding these two important terms, quotes. I mean, violence against women is also a men's problem. It is not the bruises on the body that hurts. It is the wound of the heart and the scars on the mind that hurts. I submit. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Can we call on Honorable F. Kikana?
Through you, Honorable Chair. Honorable F. Kekana will be replaced by Honorable Tumi Muteme.
Okay. Honorable Tumi Muteme, you have 3 minutes starting now.
Good morning, honorable members of the House. I am Tumi Mutumi from Commission 2. As the chairperson has presented, I would like to add, there is nothing much done by the government to help abusive men to deal with their challenges that lead them to abusive nature. Government and non-profit organizations spend millions every year to fight violence. However, those millions go to campaigns against abuse of women. It is unlikely that a percentage is dedicated to campaigns for men. Men and boys are denied fair access to public services as well as the right to fair treatment when they go to police stations and courts of laws. A lot of men today are not free to express themselves or speak up when an issue is going on in their homes, whereas women can shout it out and receive immediate help. We don't have laws that protect men. To find solution to problems faced by society, the government must think together with the people who are directly affected. These are the villages, townships, and all other marginalized spaces. I submit. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Member. Honorable Chair. Honorable O. Makola.
Yes, Honorable Speaker.
Before we go to the time.
Is it the closing reply, Honorable Speaker?
No, not closing the reply. We have not gone to the open time. We're going to have an open time where the same process will apply. Or rather, okay, let's go to the open time for now. If you are fine with it, I thought you wanted to say some lasting remarks before the open time.
Yes, there's a member that is delegated to giving us the closing remarks, Honorable Chairperson, through you.
Okay.
Yes, Honorable Mahadi.
Okay. Honorable Mahadi. Honorable Mahadi, are you here?
Honorable Chairperson, as a flexible commission in her absentia, will then take Honorable Ayanda Teko.
Okay. I think because of technical glitch, I'm quite flexible. If the Honorable Teko is not here, you'll have to say something so that we don't waste any further time. Honorable Teko, are you here?
I am here, Honorable Chair.
Okay.
All right. In closing, thank you very much. All protocols observed. In the solutions that we have programs that should begin at an early age. The government is using the existing policies. If there are gaps, we should at least be able to reinforce the message in terms of identifying kids who are experiencing violence at a very young age. These programs need to be able to assess the kids who are coming from homes that are affected by the domestic violence. In primary schools, there should be an awareness and a safe space to support and identify these kids with such programs. Have programs which will be meaningful and support children from such backgrounds. So basically, what we are saying here now is that we need to be able to create a psychoanalysis for the kids. And also the government must now give resources to civil society organizations that are already doing the work or are willing and capable to do this line of work. The policies that we have as a country talk as if we are a country that is there protecting everyone. So let's execute what's written on these legislations and policies in our workspaces, schools, and so forth. We have so many organizations that respond well and already helping kids funded by outside stakeholders like your Afroticum that are already active and are already involved in such cases. There's an old African proverb that says it takes a village to raise a child, meaning that the child is not solely the responsibility of the family household. Nonetheless, it is the onus of the community. We must take into account of the fact that most Black family structures have been broken as a consequence of slavery, colonialism, and apartheid. Therefore, we need to have more community children support homes that will accommodate them whenever they need psychological and emotional support. Self-respecting men and women must take the responsibility of being a mother and father figure to them. You need to not be the biological parent for you to play the father or mother figure. You just need to assume the position, reintroduce the spirit of Ubuntu in an Afrocentric manner, and be able to have institutions whereby you can be able to have these kids be in a comfortable place and be able to allow themselves to heal. Get them psychosocial support, counseling, and move them to a different environment. The level of progress will be measured based on how they are coping and seeing if they are changing for the better whilst undergoing therapy. How can we identify children from abusive background in order to offer them support? First, find out if they are coming from an abusive family or home, because in most cases you find that the kids or the victims from the experiences that they have, they would rather not say anything because they feel like the justice system has failed them. With that said, I submit. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Member. I now call for open time. As outlined earlier, only 4 participants will be allowed. Those who are on the platform, on the speaking list rather, and the rules apply. You must mention Rule 77.7 as you mention your name. And you can just speak up if you want to participate in this debate. Like I've said earlier, I can't see, I don't know how to, well, it doesn't give me, I won't say I don't because I've been navigating the system now for a while trying to see. There's no, it doesn't give me an option where you can raise your hand and then I'll be able to see that you've raised your hand. So you can just speak up. Okay. It means that we don't have anyone now who would want to participate in the debate. We'll then move to Honorable Makola. You don't have much to reply to, but can you please move for the adoption of the Commission report?
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. I now move for the adoption of this report as a true reflection of what the Progressive Commission 2 has deliberated on. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you. I now call for a seconder. Can I get a seconder? It can be any member in the House to second the report. Can I get a second?
Honorable Chair, I'm happy to second the report.
Thank you.
That's Honorable Nazim Timunya.
Okay.
I second.
No, thank you. Thank you. It has been seconded. I now put the question. All those in favor say yes.
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 And all those not in favor say no. Okay, the yes have the report. Can the report, can the resolution of the Commission be of the debate on assessing the response of Gauteng Province in relation to gender-based violence faced by young people during COVID-19 restriction? I now declare the debate on assessing the response of Gauteng Province in relation to GBV faced by young people during COVID-19 restriction closed. Can the Secretary please read the third order?
Thank you, Chair. The third order is the debate on the examining skills development strategy in addressing youth unemployment. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I now call on Honorable El Ndaba, the chairperson of the Commission, to present the Commission's report. You have 6 minutes. Honorable Ndaba. Honorable El Ndaba.
Yes, Chair.
Okay.
Am I audible?
Yes, you can proceed. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Greetings. Greetings to each and everyone in the House. Greetings to each and everyone in the House. I am Luyanda Noluthando Ndaba. This research report serves to address the unemployment by examining the skills development strategy in addressing the youth unemployment, with the following guidelines being unpicked. What drives the youth unemployment is one of the questions that will be briefly discussed and explained, followed by what interventions or policies can help address the challenge of unemployment. What kind of education system can be beneficial for the youth of this country, bearing in mind that our education system should be aligned to the needs and demand of our economy as a country? What skills are relevant to the economy of today? Is there communication between
Remember, we have lost your audio feedback.
Chair, am I audible? Chair?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. I've stopped the time. Okay, you can proceed. I'll start again. Proceed.
Okay. What can be, okay. It is believed that our education system is somehow outdated and no longer serves the needs of the employers. What can be done to make sure that the two are aligned? As young people are dropping out of school, what can be done to keep them in school? Let them not lose interest in education, but instead invest in it. What is the role of government in addressing the challenge of skills development and unemployment? Lastly, what is the role of private sector in addressing the challenge of unemployment and skills development? They form part of our economy. They must be active participants, benefit the communities as they also get profit. What drives youth unemployment? According to the statistic, unemployment increased to 63% in 2020, and mainly people under the age of 15 to 34 who are unemployed. It is indicated that more than 50% of our young people
I remember.
Yes, Chair.
Okay. I don't know. I can you maybe perhaps don't move around. Maybe wait.
I'm just in one setting.
Yeah, because we keep on losing you, but it's fine. Proceed.
May I proceed?
Sure.
With all that being said, we can state beyond reasonable doubt that high school dropout is one of the reasons why we have such a high number of unemployed young people. Is corruption one of the reasons why the unemployment rate is so high? It was stated by one of the individuals interviewed, I quote, "I had to move from South Africa to the United States of America with the relevant skills and experience. I couldn't get a job in South Africa." Because in South Africa, it is not about the skills you have, but it is about who do you know in the HR system or in the recruitment process. The Minister of Higher Education blames Monday, I quote, "Too many students are rushing to programs that are or courses that are oversubscribed, and they will increase the unemployment rate." I pose a question to our government because they've seen and identified the problem. Why are they not creating a flushing system for our education?
Remember? I remember.
Chair, am I audible?
Yeah, now you're back again. You can proceed again. I remember. Honorable Ndaba. Honorable Ndaba. Honorable Ndaba, we can't hear you. Are you still here? I think we've lost Honorable Ndaba. I think the system might have kicked her out.
Chair, hello?
Oh, you're back now.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you went missing for over a minute or so. I don't know, are you going towards the conclusion? Please, can you just wrap it up?
Yes, Chair, I'm going towards the conclusion.
Yeah, please wrap it up. Okay, please.
Under the BBBEE Act, young people are encouraged to open their small business. The government has taken a great initiative by helping young people and providing funding for their small business. We know a program by the NYDA. In unforeseen circumstances such as the pandemic, small measured micro enterprises were left out of the economy activities as they were forced to shut down or close operation at level 5. That brings me to the question of what policies and regulations has our government put in place to protect the small, medium, micro enterprises from collapsing in such cases happened? The above statements identify
We've lost you again.
Chair, am I audible?
Yes, now you're audible.
The above statement identify gaps and some of the resolutions which we believe if our government can adopt, they can make a huge difference. Let us remember that unemployment is not a disease that can be healed by one pill, but is an ongoing process that has been there and we have been struggling with for decades. Now, there is no one solution for unemployment, but if we all put our heads and focus together to solving, we can come up with reasonable solution and decrease the unemployment rate of our economy. Chair, am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Oh, sorry, I'm just, my mic is turning on and off. We can come up with reasonable solutions and decrease the unemployment. Our economy can be in a better space. We can reach the boom phase if we all come together and do what we need.
It's your mic again.
Sorry, Chair.
Okay, look, your time is up.
Yes, Chair, I've submitted.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Can we call on Honorable Sindani? You have 3 minutes, Honorable Sindani. Honorable Sindani? Do you have Honorable Sindani on the platform? Do you have Honorable Sindani?
Chairperson, Honorable Kabelo Khwadi is ready to submit.
Okay, can we have Honorable K. Khwali?
Yes, thank you very much, Chairperson of the session. Good day to all honorable members. Am I audible, Chair?
Yes, you are.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We cannot conquer the PUI problem, the poverty, unemployment, and inequality problem, particularly conditions faced by today's youth, without looking into the historic makings of the problem. Our colonial history still burdens us today in 1, our schooling curriculum, and 2, our economy. I will detail on the former followed by the latter. Our school curriculum is of a colonial agenda. It prepares us to be laborers and not champions of our own economic conditions. An example is the many graduates sitting at home without qualifications and don't know what to do with them except to wait and to submit CV. They don't even volunteer in our own communities to help us develop our communities. We need a decolonized education curriculum which is Afrocentric and brings out the best in us and not according to what the racially dictated economy wants. I will go further and detail on the latter, our economy. 60% of South Africa's economy is owned and controlled by 3 white families that create a monopoly, a profit over people agenda, and it's a catalyst to state and private sector corruption. Our governing organization, which is the ANC, has adopted a relevant policy document at its 54th National Congress in Nasrec, of which it gives power to conquering poverty, unemployment, and inequality in the country. The implementation of radical economic transformation is right now and must never be postponed. We cannot keep on asking the rhetorical question, which skills are needed or are relevant in the economy, knowing very well that we are not in charge of our own economy. The economy must be transferred into the hands of the people through nationalization of banks and establishing a state-owned bank, land expropriation without compensation, the enhancing of state development agenda through state-owned enterprises. We also note as youth the derailing of Congress resolutions by individuals within the leadership of Congress movement, of which they went and privatized state-owned enterprises, being SAA, which deepens us further into the problem of poverty, unemployment, and inequality, because as per Congress resolution, state-owned entities are meant to be a catalyst of socio-economic transformation. I submit. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honourable Member. You just made the 3 minutes mark. Honourable Pim.
Chairperson, through you, this is Ntagan Sindane.
Oh, okay, that's fine. You have 3 minutes, Honourable Member.
Yes, all right. Okay, I'm having Chairperson.
Your time is running, Honourable Sindane. You have 3 minutes.
All right.
On your lead, Chair.
Good afternoon. Good morning to the House at large. My name is Ntagan Sindane. I'm currently based in Ekurhuleni. We currently have an education crisis within our ranks. Statistics for matric pass rates over the past 3 years are as follows. In 2018, it was 81.1. In 2019, it was 78.2. In 2020, it was 75.2. Statistics on the bachelor's degree pass rates are as follows. In 2018, it was less than 35%. In 2019, it was less than 34%. In 2020, it was less than 33%. This indicates that we have less than 35% of young people that are qualified to go to varsity and who stand a chance of being absorbed into the mainstream economy, which is a service-based and gradually and rapidly moving into a technological-based economy, which requires greater specialized skills. An exegesis of the metric results, of our metric results reveal the following. Our metric results are not the true reflection of the measure of success of the education system. The real metric pass rate is at 44.1%, calculated by comparing the number of learners that enrolled in 2018, which was 997, which was 997,872 to the number that wrote, which was 578,468, and number that passed metric in 2009, it was 440,702. This indicates that over 50% of young people are lost along the way within the education system before writing their metrics. It indicates that we are not yet ready to be a service-based and technology-based economy. It indicates our human capital lacks the requisite skills to be competitive and absorbed into that kind of economy. Over 2/3 of our population are unskilled. Our unemployment statistics within the country currently stand at 32.6%. 32.6%. Youth unemployment under the expanded definition is a staggering 74.7%, which means only 1 in 4 school leavers who are 24 and have a job. This is indicative of an unemployment crisis looming within South Africa.
Remember, your time is up. Honorable Sinane, your time is up. The network even intervened on our behalf. So your time is up. Thank you. Your 3 minutes is up. Can we have Honorable P. Mtimunye? Are you here, Honorable P. Mtimunye?
I'm here, Chair. Can you hear me?
Yes, your 3 minutes starts now.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, to be a youth in South Africa today is a miserable experience, probably among the worst in the world. Our education standards are generally poor. The entrepreneurial environment is not supportive, and the jobs market is a story of a closed door that we don't have access to. There are three main reasons for this. One is the poor quality of our education. In 2019, the trends in international mathematics and science study showed that only 41% of grade 9 learners demonstrated that they had acquired the basic mathematical proficiency and literacy. And this is just only commenting on the quality of the education, not even on the quantity in terms of people that pass, of which very little people actually go through our system. In fact, of those that start grade 1, only 37% make it out of grade 12. We lose a lot in the system, we end up becoming dropouts. And of those that get out, Chair, the higher education outcomes or opportunities are very little, with very few universities in the province, and that the TVET sector, which provides no real training, as most people that come out of it come out with no skills. And unfortunately, we're also a migrant province where a lot of people come into this province, and we're also unable to handle that and plan sufficiently for that, Chair, which is a big problem. On the economic front, our economic growth as a province has averaged around 1% in the last few years, far below the rate of people coming in the province and the rate of people being born in the province. Meaning, generally, we're all becoming poorer, and specifically young people, of whom the unemployment we know affects them more than any other category. Some numbers put that at 70%. The official stats SA number puts at 46% of young people who are unemployed. There is very little investment in the provincial economy, despite all the agencies that have been set up, from GEF to GDD, the Gauteng Development Agency. They are not working together to really give us anything tangible. In fact, our imports as a province are more than what we export. And basically what we really export are just precious minerals that are unprocessed, and we import final goods, and therefore our economy is really one that just gives to the world and really nothing that we really build on. Finally, on the social development, our province is really plagued with drugs and nyaupe. And part of the problem is that we have neglected things like sports and arts and culture and activities in communities that would keep our young people busy, and therefore they fall easy prey to drugs and drug laws. It is not all doom and gloom, and we believe that the province can improve, particularly with the establishment of the 9 ECASI labs established by the province. We believe that these labs are unfortunately poorly resourced, and there's no real business incubation that happens in the ECASI labs, and they've not really played a big role. We want to propose that we triple the budget of the ECASI labs. The current 20 million budget is not enough for 9 labs. It only basically covers salaries and nothing else. But if you want the ECASI labs to do incubation, we want
your time is
Thank you, Chair. We'll give more proposals later on, but we need to improve as a province.
Okay. Thank you, Honourable Member. Can we have Honourable T. Sibita? Honourable T. Sibita.
Good day, Chair. I'll be standing in for TCB. He has some academic commitment. So it's David Mankhata from the West End.
You have 3 minutes. 3 minutes starts now.
Greeting to the House at large, and a heartfelt greeting to unemployed youth of the West End, Ekurhuleni, Sidibeng, City of Johannesburg, and Tshwane. As you know, that the stats are staggering. We are standing at about 73% youth unemployment in the broader sense of the term. And the majority of the youth are shockingly out of jobs and out of work. Now, our proposals are as follows, that youth need to, first and foremost, need to volunteer in whatever sectors that they wish to join. Volunteer in order to attain job experience in the job market. From getting that experience, they would then be able to take full advantages of whatever job opportunities are available. Now, local economies also need to be exploited, in particular the township economy. As you would know, that the World Bank has estimated that the township economy is worth 100 billion, especially in Gauteng. So we need to exploit those opportunities, go into townships and see how we are able to exploit opportunities in the township, as it's expensive commuting to the suburbs and CBDs. As you would know that we spend the majority of our income on taxi fares commuting to works in the CBDs, whereas we have our own economies in the township. Now, we also need to organize ourselves as young people, such as we've seen with NAFCOG, that has progressively lobbied for Black entrepreneurs in the township for many years, and they've produced the likes of Dr. Richard Maponya and so forth and so forth. We need to organize ourselves, and we, as foreigners, have organized themselves with the Spaza economy that is controlled by them. They've organized themselves under NPOs such as the Somalian Association of South Africa, and they've going into business, and they have networks of businesses throughout all townships. So we need to equally do the same as the youth, and we need to serve our interest, and we need to have NPOs that will be biased to the Black unemployed youth. Now, we need to also get to a point where we supply spazas. We become suppliers to these very same spazas that are working in the townships and that are generating income from the townships. We need to have a situation we also supply whatever we need to supply to them, instead of them taking money and going to stock at your macros and jumbos, whereas there are some supplies that you would be able to find within the township. So we need to create terms for them where, in order for them to do business in our townships, they need to also be able to use local suppliers within the townships. Now, we also need to join the informal economy. Jobs are not there. We need to partake in the informal economy, whether be it selling quotas, whatever service we are offering.
Your 3 minutes is up. Thank you. I can sense the passion. Now, can you give to your chair, Honorable Ndaba?
Chairperson.
Your lead, Chair.
Chairperson. Through you, sir.
Yes.
Am I audible, Chair?
Yes, look, there's some, I need to know, I need to mute.
Chairperson, this is John.
Can everybody be muted?
Chairperson, through you.
Okay.
Chairperson, while I was speaking, I was kicked out by the system, and it's only now that I was able to.
Am I audible, Chair?
No, it's fine. Your time was lapsed already, so it's okay. You can relax. Honorable Ndaba, is it Ndaba? You?
Yes, Chair, it's Ndaba.
Yes. We have 3 minutes.
In closing, these are our suggestions. Can we have our curriculum to be adjusted? Can it be adjusted to the needs and wants of the economy? Illegal mushrooming agencies, can our government enforce more laws and policies to deal with the illegal mushrooming agencies? Can our NSFAS scheme please provide funding to relevant courses? And lastly, we have a very beautiful constitution that speaks of the youth and young people, but there is poor implementation. Can our government strengthen and emphasize on the implementation of our constitution? I submit.
Thank you.
Chair.
No, that's fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was also grappling with the gadget. It's that time again for the open time. 4 participants. just mention your name and rule 77.7, then you can contribute. Just okay.
Through you, Honorable Chair.
Yes, you want to contribute to the, yeah, just your name and rule 77.7 and the rule that you can contribute.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Honorable Osborne Makula from Commission 2. I have a question directed to Commission 3, if possible, through you, Chair.
Yes, you must read the rule again, as I keep on mentioning 77.7. Let's mention the rule, yeah.
Rule 77.7.
Yes, you rise on that rule. You say, I rise on rule 77.
I'm rising on that rule, Honorable Chair.
Okay.
Sorry for that. I was just still finding my iPad. Sorry. The question that I have for the Commission, Honorable Chair, is that firstly, they indicated that education needs to be decolonized. In 1976, we had young people that called for the total shutdown of the education system at that time. 24 years down the line, we are having another young people that are saying that we need a total eradication of this education. Don't they think that instead of saying hashtag this must fall, we then need to come up with hashtag what must rise? What is this decolonized education system that we're talking about? And what systems should it have in place? That is question number one. Question number two, Honorable Chair. They've mentioned the great policies that are put in place by the African National Congress in the education sector, but don't they think that education needs to be depoliticized? Education must not belong to a certain political party, but education must belong to everyone in South Africa. The same method that is used to appoint a public protector, don't they think that we need to use the same method to appoint a Minister of Basic Education? Thank you, Chair, as I submit.
Thank you. Is there any other? One member would love to participate? Okay. Silence means there's no one else in this regard. I wouldn't say consensus. Honorable Ndaba, could you please reply to the honorable member?
Yes, Chair.
Of the commission report.
In response of the question that ask about systems that should be put in place. Number one, we spoke about the government investing more in the capabilities and strengths of young people. We have stated and asked that may our government and our education system focus more on the capabilities of young people. Instead of it being a one-for-all system, can it focus on enhancing the capabilities of young people? We have mentioned that young people are not mostly literate. Hence, it is why we ask our government to invest in social and sports development. Let there be sport facilities in our public schools. Let there be art schools for young people at an early age. Let the young people be encouraged from a foundation phase age to participate in what serves at their interest based, in order for them to not end up losing interest or losing the ability of wanting to partake in our education system. As I submit.
Thank you. Do you move for adoption of the commission report?
Chair, am I audible?
Yes.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I wish to confirm this report as a true reflection of the work undertaken by the Commission. We may proceed with the adoption of the report.
Thank you. Can I now call for a seconder?
Seconded, Chair.
Thank you. I now put a question. All those in favor say yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Can all those not in favor say no? Okay, the yes have it. Thank you. Could you kindly hand over the resolutions of the the Commission on the debate in examining the skills development strategy in addressing youth unemployment. I now further declare the debate on examining skills development strategy in addressing youth unemployment closed. I would like to take this opportunity to thank yourselves, honourable members, for your contribution in the various debates.
Honorable Chair,
Yes.
can I please edit on the Commission 2 report?
You want to edit?
Yes.
Order, Honorable Chair.
Honourable members, I know my work, don't worry. I have no problem with honourable members rising to say what they're saying, but just relax. I know what I'm doing. Once the report is adopted, it's a report of the House, honourable member. You can't come back and edit it.
Okay, because I was muted when I wanted to edit on it, but it's okay then. Thank you, Chair.
It then becomes, is what we call corruption. When you change decisions, you are corrupting the system. All right, thank you so much, honourable members. As I've said earlier, we do appreciate your contribution. It was indeed an interesting debate throughout, quite clearly demonstrating that honourable members did prepare thoroughly. Can we get the Honourable MEC, Honourable Panyaza Sufi, to give a response to some of the issues that were raised in the debates? Honourable Sufi. Honourable Panyaza Sufi. Honourable Panyaza Sufi.
Chair, I may be wrong, but I don't see him in the platform anymore.
Yeah, the system keeps on kicking out participants. Is Honourable Mdlagaza here? Okay. Okay, thank you. Honourable members, I think in the absence of Honourable Sophia and Lagaza, because I think it's the system, it's not them. We are seeming to have quite a number of glitches. As we have seen earlier, we did have it with the Speaker of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature. I'll move to the next item. To call on Honourable Sizakele Nkosi Malubani to receive and hand over the resolutions to the Chairperson of Education to receive the resolutions, to hand them over to the Education Portfolio Committee for further processing and also give a vote of thanks. Honourable Malubani, are you here? Honourable Chair of Chairs. Honourable Deputy Chair of Chairs, are you here? Are you still here?
Yes, I'm here. I think if the Chair of Committees is not here, I will take up the item.
Yes, definitely.
But let's check if I saw she was here, unless she's also kicked out.
Yeah.
I think in the absence, without really wasting more time, let me take up this opportunity and thank everybody who participated in this debate And again, let me thank the team that have really organized this platform. I know we really face some of the challenges. It is for the first time that we are really embarking in this kind of a platform, but you will really bear with us. We'll really improve moving forward. You will all recall that we normally use other platforms, but we utilize this with a reason. But we'll see moving forward how we can really make sure that we improve the system. And on that note, I must say we've really missed to get the addressal from the speaker. She's really listening, but she can't really engage with us in this platform. And again, the chairperson of committees, she was really ready to give thanks, vote of thanks. Now she's here. I'm going to allow her to really close this and then make sure that everybody is really comfort in terms of the way forward. Through you, Chair, I've just picked up that the Chair of Committees is with us. Maybe you can hand over to her to close this entire Youth Parliament.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs. Let me recognize the speaker, although she had challenges in terms of connectivity, hence she could not even deliver her input in terms of the purpose of the of this engagement. And I'm also aware that the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Mvuyo Mhlakaza, could not join us in this meeting, but let me recognize her in absentia. Deputy Chair of Committees, Honorable Mpapa, thank you very much for steering this ship up until now. Let me also acknowledge and thank the MEC Panyaza Lissufi for his input this morning. And I think based on his input, the youth was definitely able to engage with us this afternoon in terms of the issues that were on the table, particularly on gender-based violence, as well as issues around health. Chairperson of the Committee of Education, Tate Chilwane, you are great in terms of steering again the ship. Let me also recognize you. I want to also recognize MPLs, distinguished guests. And when I say MPLs, I also mean the Youth Parliament, because today their status is actually them being parliamentarians, young parliamentarians. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm greatly privileged and humbly honored to have been asked to extend a vote of thanks on this historic occasion of the Youth Parliament 2021. The very presence of honorable members of GPL, despite your busy schedule, I know Honorable Tulane is one of those people who has been with us for quite some time on this platform, reflects the importance that you are attached to the achievement of the youth sector parliament. We are inspired by your leadership. I remain grateful to the Chairperson of Education Portfolio Committee, Honorable Matume Chilwane, for steering the oversight role of the committee in the correct path of executing of the plans to receive the resolution of the Youth Parliament. We look forward to the resolutions being processed and delivered to the executive. As the GPL, we have recognized that these engagements assist in deepening relations with key sectors of communities such as the youth in programs aimed at improving the quality of lives of our people through the legislative process, with a view to radically transform, modernize, industrialize Gauteng. I would would like to take this opportunity to express my sincere appreciation. You know, there's a feedback. Am I still audible?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are, Chair of
Okay, thank you
Chairs.
very much, Chairperson Matume. I would like to take this opportunity to express our sincere appreciation to the presiding officers of JPL who have tirelessly worked to make this event a success. Special thanks to the members of the Provincial Legislature present here. We are humbled. We are indeed inspired by your vision and passion on youth issues. Finally, let me take this opportunity to thank you, the youth, for sharing with us the aspiration and frustrations faced by young people out there. When I see young people hungry for their individual and collective success and the development of our country, I feel great anticipation. I see young people who responded to the clarion call by Moses Kotane in his message to the youth of South Africa. That Moses Kotane said, "At this hour of destiny, your country and your people need you. The future of South Africa is in your hands, and it will be what you make of it." Ladies and gentlemen, honorable members, the young parliamentarians, thank you very much. And of course, a special thank you goes to all for gracing this occasion. Nyabonga, Ndialebuga. Baya danki. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much, Chair of Chairs. It is, you've covered all ground in terms of thanking all of us and appreciating this great event. For myself, I would like to also further thank again all the participants, all the observers, all the speakers, all the honorable members present for making this a successful event. We've come to the end of the event. So I want to officially say that the House is now adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chair.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Chair.
Thank you so much,
Chair. Thank you, Chair. As we exit, thank you, Chair. Nah, exit ako.
Koko, muchali wili mujikisite.
Siyabonga, siyabonga. Sibonga noGoogle lapho in the background.